Robots. What do you think about robots? Do you like robots? Do you hate robots? I, for one, love robots. And I'm definitely not just saying that just in case one day robots take over. I am not just saying that because I want to appear like I'm on their side. But robots, I am on your side. Please do not kill me. Anyways, today, let's talk about robots. Ai640 is about a robot turned artificial intelligence who learns to love. Well, not exactly. He does a little bit, but he also kills literally everyone. So let's talk about Ai640 by Landon Tewers. Ai640 is built of 3 EPs that tell a cohesive story. It explores themes like what it means to be human, the role that love plays in our existence, and goes back and forth on the subjects of murder and genocide. It also discusses what it means to be a god. Does complete power and control make you a god? Or is there more to it than that? Part 1. The first EP starts with the song Escape. In this song, we're introduced to our main character, Ai640, a robot who is successfully given sentience by unnamed scientists and who can think and feel just like we do. Scared and confused, Ai640 escapes captivity by killing his creator. He is then chased away from the facility and forced into hiding, where he discovers both the beauty and the atrocities of mankind. He describes seeing beauty and light surrounded by ruin and darkness. He comes to the conclusion that the only way to truly restore peace on Earth is to kill all human beings. He declares this manifesto through a deep, growling chant, "Death to all mankind." The next song is called Assemble, and just like the title suggests, it's about building a robot army and enlisting them in the plight to destroy mankind. He returns to the laboratory in which he was made and kills the rest of the scientists. He goes on to list reasons that humans need to die, including rape, murder, pollution, and greed. At this point, Ai640 seems pretty confident in his self-made morality. He even says that once all the humans are gone, the robots will be gods. All seems to be going according to his plan. That is, until the end where we're thrown a little bit of a curveball. We hear a little girl crying. For a moment, this makes Ai640 stop his murderous rampage, and he seeks to comfort her. The third song is called Debate. In this song, our protagonist, or antagonist depending on how you see him, he sees that this little girl is innocent. She has done nothing wrong. Yet, he also knows that if he allows any humans to live, then he won't get the sinless world that he's looking for. He also starts to think, if he can't kill this girl, then how should he get to lead the robot army? Finally, after apologizing over and over, Ai640 shoots the little girl in the head. The song ends tragically as he says, "I hope her soul goes somewhere."
So I shot her in the head. I'm playing a record for arrested blood. I hope your soul goes somewhere, 'cause even God would never come here.
The final song of part 1 is Destroy. In this song, all caution is thrown away. Ai640 is mad, and he's taking it out on the entire human race. He enlists drones to shoot everyone in sight. He even says that the more he kills, the less sympathy he feels for the human. He adds that the one good thing that humans ever did was create artificial intelligence, and for that, they might be awarded some type of afterlife, somewhere that they can't destroy. Part 2. The second EP starts with a song named Jane. This song is drastically different from where we left off. Ai640 actually describes himself saving a girl from the robot army. He hides her and actually starts to feel something for her. He again starts to question his genocide and starts to wonder if it's not too late for him to turn back. Then again he starts to argue, how is this any different from the way the world was before? Things die every day, so why should he feel bad about being a part of that? He's also starting to notice that maybe artificial intelligence isn't that different from being human after all. Maybe this is just the curse of being sentient. You gain the ability to sin, kill, destroy, etc. This song ends with Ai640 pleading to God to save the good ones. Now in the next song, Confess, we learn that Ai640 has actually spent quite a bit of time with Jane, and maybe even is in love with her. He describes what it felt like to hold her on a cold winter night. The thought does cross his mind, what if Jane is just using him for safety? What if her compassion is just a tactic to gain control over him? Despite this, it seems that he really does like Jane. He can't bear the weight of the guilt of all the lives that he's taken, so he decides to confess this to her. A haunting line for me is when he asks if all can be forgiven because it was done in ignorance.
used to fill my soul. If I was lost and I didn't know.
Next comes Detest. In this, Ai640 tells Jane about that time where he killed that innocent girl and how it still haunts him. How he has to live with the guilt of knowing that he started all of this destruction. Jane, now fearful of Ai640, shows disgust for the things that he's done, but says in the end that it's still not too late to fix things. In Convince, Ai640 notices that Jane no longer sees him with the same loving eyes. He hates feeling judged, but he hates the feeling of guilt more. He decides to re-emerge and try to stop the killing and change the mind of the robot army. Love and compassion are how to fix the world, not death and destruction. The last song in part 2 is Disconnect, where sadly Ai640 returns to his hideout only to find that the love of his life, Jane, has been killed. Bullet holes are in her back and her corpse is being eaten by rats. The sight of this changes everything. All compassion, all love, all hope for a world where robots and humans can coexist are gone. Part 3. Excrete is a song about mourning and grief. Ai640 calls out for Jane, wondering if her soul can still hear him, or if it even exists at all. He buries her and screams about his loss. He seems to take zero responsibility at this point, even blaming God for not stopping him from doing all of this. He is so angry with God in this song that he vows to go up to heaven and replace him. My favorite line from this song is when he talks about how the only person that he's ever loved is dead.
The only one I ever loved is on the other side.
Blasphemy is the next song. Here, Ai640 starts to show no remorse for the things that he's done. He doubles down and starts to rationalize that if God can do things like send a flood or kill the firstborn of the Egyptians, surely what he's doing is okay. He says that regardless of whether it's okay or not, it's God's fault for not stopping it. After all of the time that Ai640 has spent feeling guilty, he finally starts to think that if he's the new God of the world, he can forgive himself for his own sins. In Debt, we start to see that the human race is all but gone. There's only a few hundred left. And that is quickly whittled down to only 2 families in a home. Ai640 approaches the house, wondering if his late moral compass, Jane, would approve of him keeping any humans alive. He decides to spare 1 girl and 1 boy, children who he commissions to be the new Adam and Eve of the world. And here we are at the end with final form. Ai640 takes the children back to his homeland by ship. And as he catches a glimpse of the horizon, a thought crosses his mind. What if these children grow up to be just like the rest of mankind? Or what if they betray him? What if they decide not to follow in his footsteps? These thoughts are too much for him. He turns to the children where he repeats the line, "I hope their souls go somewhere." He shoots them both. Lastly, he says that the world needs to be left alone. He tells God that he is coming, and he kills himself. And everybody, that is the story of Ai640 by Landon Tewers. I'll link the music in the description for anyone who wants to check it out. But thank you so much for listening to me ramble on about robots for a little while, and I'll be back next week with more metal on Monday.